So now it's time to talk about elections. There is so much to our complex processes, so I'm going to give you just a very quick vision of what happens. I'm standing in our counting facility, at least a portion of it. No way to show it all at one time. Obviously, we're not active right now. But this counting facility will be bustling with people working in bipartisan teams to complete the process of counting those ballots. But let's look at the election process as a whole. We have to get ballot content, right? We can't start anything until we know what's going to be on the ballot. There is a date that's set in statute for that, at which point all the entities who want to be on the ballot must get us information. Once we know what that information is, then we create the ballot. When we create the ballot, we do a lot of checks and balances to make sure that that ballot is accurate, and then we send the ballots out to our UOCAVA voters, which happens much earlier in the process than the ballots going out to the rest of the electorate. Those UOCAVA ballots go out to our folks. UOCAVA voters are the folks who live and work overseas. They're not necessarily military, but they do include the military as well. We don't have too many in Larimer County, maybe 2,300 or so. And then we send ballots out to all active registered voters. If you're not an active registered voter, you're not going to get a ballot. Those ballots go out to you in the mail. And they, when you get them, you have lots of options for voting them. To make a note that inside that ballot envelope is an instruction sheet. That instruction sheet gives you all the information you need. Now, I'm not a big instruction reader either, and I understand that, but do read your instructions. Any question you have about the process of elections is going to be in there, from how much postage it takes to return that ballot, to where you can go to vote if you want to go in person, what to do if you make a mistake on your ballot or mess it up and you need to get a replacement. All of that information is located on your voter instructions. As well, now in Larimer County, we have that all-important I voted sticker as well that you can just peel right off. You don't have to go to a site to get a sticker. And then you can mail your ballot back, or if you just want to drop it into a 24-hour drop box, you can certainly do that. You can drop your ballot in a voting site. If you want to vote in person, you can go in and vote in person. Those ballots, when you do vote in person, are handled exactly the same way that a mail ballot is handled. If you vote in person, your ballot's going to get dropped in a box. It's going to be brought out here just like all those ballots from those other boxes are going to be handled. Those ballots, when they make their way from either the post office or the 24-hour box or even the voting site, they're transported to us by transport teams in bipartisan teams, as everything in our process is done in bipartisan team. No one ever works alone. And those ballots are brought to our counting facility. There's a chain of custody that begins the minute they put them in that box, in that carrying box that they're going to carry them in. There's a chain of custody that begins. They put a seal on it. That seal is recorded in that chain of custody, and they may go around to another location and pick up other boxes. Incidentally, while they're making those trips around to pick up ballots, they are under GPS surveillance. We didn't put that in place because we had concerns. We never had any issue with anyone going rogue as a transfer team member. We actually put that in play because it's a great management tool. You can imagine we need to be preparing for what ballots are going to come in when, and so that was a great management tool. It now serves a dual purpose, right? It enhances our election security all the way along. We know exactly where those transfer teams are at all times. There is a team meeting them here to check that chain of custody before that ballot box seal is ever opened. Once that chain of custody is confirmed, they will sign that chain of custody document. They'll empty that and prepare those ballots for processing. Preparation for processing means running them through our automated Agilis machine that counts the number of ballots that came from each location, and it begins the process of signature verification, right? We check the signature on the exterior of every single ballot envelope before any envelope is ever opened, period. And that signature verification process is multifaceted. In Larimer County, we have that automation equipment, that Agilis machine. It uses the same type of technology as is used in banking, and it compares. That's why you have a barcode on the exterior of your envelope. It compares your signature to the statewide voter registration signature for you, and it cures. We call that curing. It cures about 45% of our ballot signatures. The ones it can't cure, there's a bank of judges here. This is the area where that takes place. A bank of judges that can compare only the image of that signature from your ballot envelope. They don't touch the ballot. They compare that image to an image in the statewide voter registration system and see if that is you. They follow a Secretary of State guide to do so. All counties across Colorado use the same guide. And if they can't confirm it's you, that ballot envelope now is going to go to another bank of judges who work in a bipartisan team, and they're going to be able to look up that signature in the statewide voter registration system for you, and they can see several of them instead of just that one at a time. If they can't confirm that signature is you, now you're going to get an 8-day letter. That letter says, we cannot confirm this signature is yours. You have until 8 days after Election Day to cure this signature, or your envelope is never going to be open and your ballot is never going to be counted. And once the ballot envelopes have been cured, so we've got signatures on a bunch of those, right, that have been cured and they confirm that it's you, now those are going to go for extraction.